Cyber traders, welcome on back here this Thursday, October 22nd, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. There we go. Buongiorno, Andrea, who says the 2:30 gong, the sound effect I hit right before I start the recording here. Great to see Bill, Debbie, Grant, Matt, Kathleen, James, Don, Jeff, and all of us tuning in on social media as well, Facebook Live and YouTube. Welcome on back. So with that in mind, guys, let's hop right into this meeting. We have Snapchat pushing up once again, breaking a new all-time high, maybe by a couple pennies. I don't know. We'll take a look at yesterday's high versus today's high. Yesterday's high, which was the all-time high, 38.89. It ended up most recently making the pop over hole number 39 just before, topped off at the new all-time high, 39.19. So heading into the afternoon, I mean, it's pretty interesting to see this pop over 39 and then right back under. So that leads me to think this could be a nice short opportunity, seeing this begin to pull back under 39. I said that right before we started, and actually recently here it ended up kind of peaking over 39, but held strong lower high, and it's back down here. So heading into the afternoon, I don't mind putting Snapchat on our main watch list for right now. If we have a really big list, I might just kind of put it on the side. You know, it's one that from yesterday, I said it was trading so much volume yesterday at this exact time of the day that I wasn't as keen to watch it for the final hour. Well, that was yesterday when it was trading 200 plus million shares at this point. Today, it's trading 100 million shares, which is definitely a lot given how much volume the stock typically trades. But nonetheless, I feel like there could be some more activity on this trade heading into the close. So I don't mind just to begin by putting this on our main list. All right, so I want to jump to one right now that I'm actually in, and it's one that we actually will put on our list here. It's the SQGB trade, or SQBG, that is. Obviously, given the downtrend here, you'd think, well, if I'm not in from the lows, then I'm in from a pretty bad price. And, well, I'm in from 950 right now. So that's my exact entry here on this trade. I'm in from 950 on the nose. Ended up just making the pop right as this meeting started. But heading into the morning, guys, I just want to go over the morning move more so than the afternoon so far. Ended up making like this big squeeze up in pre-market, as we all know, popped from 6 up to 17 or 18 bucks ultimately. Got halted like 3-4 times just right after the market opened up. So I stayed away from this all throughout the morning, all throughout right now, or all throughout the afternoon up until right now. I have a stop set on this trade. So if it ends up crashing exactly below 935, I'm going to get stopped. Take a little bit of a loss, but given from this morning, it's not too bad. At least going into the afternoon now, with this dumping off as much as it did, the whole reason why I'm in this trade, well, it's based on seeing past resistance, past volume getting filled. So ultimately right here, when it ended up making it, its next pop in the pre-market, you could see, ended up just showing a lot of volume getting filled, ended up making the big pop from that point. So I was taking a look, where's resistance ultimately on this chart? And 950, right? Just about 935, 950-ish. So I'm hoping to see a big squeeze up right from this point heading into the afternoon. I'm down a few cents on this trade currently, but taking us into the close. If it's not breaking any lower, we hope to see it push up a little bit more. And from that point, I'd be able to capitalize hopefully on like a dollar trade. So at least for right now as well, the SQBG trade, hopefully now it sets itself up for a better buying opportunity here into the close. If it doesn't make that squeeze, I'm not holding on overnight because it still has a gap to fill on the daily chart. So if it doesn't make that squeeze, I'm going to be out. And then from there, just, we'll see what happens. All right. So what we'll do really, I mean, we'll go from top to bottom as usual. I really should just start by doing that really from the top, but EVK, we'll start by going over this. This was one of the better movers that we had, not only from pre-market, but as you could see after the market opened up. So once this ended up making the pop from the market open, I thought it was going to die off as it did. But man, this ended up having a second life to it, or even third, perhaps, if you count this year. But ended up making a pop towards the eventual high of the day up towards 5 and pulled back and consolidated. I mean, at this point, I thought it was definitely done for because I thought it was done from here. So, I didn't take this trade, the EVK. It just kept going, well, at least up until it hit the high of the day, 676. And then from there, the volume really started to dissipate as it hit that high, came back down. And, once we tend to see the volume die off, we should expect the trend to die off too. All right, so this ended up making the big dump. I feel like there's going to be a lot more on the way down for this trade. All right. I got stopped out actually just now. I just saw on the SQGB trade. I'm going to keep it up on a separate screen here. So if it somehow makes a big pop right as I'm going, I'm going to look to re-enter. 950 is a really big level to watch on that stock. So if it ends up re-popping that 950, I'm talking about this trade here, number 2, SQGB, I'll re-enter. All right, so for right now, I just took a loss. Definitely going to put it on our list still. I mean, still very active. I may have been there right place, wrong time. So like I said, I'm going to set up a new order right now. And if it ends up making a pop, I'll just, turn over to it quick. TC, not really much going on there. There's GLBS. All right, so you know what? I'll turn over to another stock I'm in. Hopefully it's beginning to make this move. It is. There we go. Perfect. So for all of us inside our trading room, you guys, well, not all of us, but for perhaps those of us that have been with CTU for a number of years, you may find these stocks familiar. GLBS, Tops, and the infamous one that we used to trade. It's delisted now, Dries, DRYS, Dry Ships. Well, GLBS is a shipping stock, ended up making a huge pop today. And when we typically see sharp movement in one, we'll right away jump to the other and see if it's making just as good of a move. So I'm actually in the Tops trade from 115. I wasn't really worried about a big drop or anything, very slow mover. But, heading into the afternoon, I'll put both on our list here, both the Tops, the cheaper one, and then the more volatile play, the GLBS trade. I'm watching SQGB. It might make that pop pretty soon here. I didn't get filled just yet. Align Tech, ALGN. I know that's Smile Direct Club, SDC. It was moving in sympathy from the after hours yesterday with ALGN. I was wondering, why is this pushing up? I got the ping from Benzinga Pro just saying, hey, this is actually moving not off company-specific news, but in sympathy with the ALGN number 5. ALGN is pretty expensive, whereas the SDC was pretty cheap in relation. So this ended up diving off really shortly after the market opened up. That wasn't as much of a surprise to me, but unfortunately, I wasn't there to personally short it. Would have made for a phenomenal short drop-off, though, if not from 13, the pop and drop, then from there, 1250. But real nice drop-off down to 1150, essentially, and bounced. So could be one to keep on your side list going forward, maybe, for the next few days, next week. OAG trade, pretty cheap stock. Energy, maybe this is moving with some of the other energy stocks, but those pump and dumps from last month, right? We saw Sun W, SPI, are all of those pumping up again or no? Nah, not really. All right. Well, OAG is a cheapie. It's on a nice trend. Hey, I put the Tops trade on our list, but for right now, I'll kind of keep this on the side. It's on a really nice trend, but we'll focus on stocks over $1. All right, BPTH, pretty flat right now. Big bust from this morning, unfortunately. I was really jumpy to see this run up. Now, I don't know if Fausto mentioned this as much during the morning briefing. Just there was so much on the gainers and losers lists alike. So, of course, we were watching this trade, but the BPTH, guys, quick little history lesson. Back from March of 2019, you guys see this. This is a real run that we caught. So the stock ended up exploding from 5 all the way up to 70. And then obviously dumped back down. So I thought there was some room to see this not to go up to 70, and I just got filled on SQGB, by the way, guys. We're going to jump back to that next. But long story short, I jumped in on this trade. It was going into the early afternoon. It was right from 575 essentially here. It was before it popped up to 6. So I had about 25 cents of worth of room to try and catch. Not bad, actually pretty decent. I ended up pulling back down. I wasted the profit. I got stopped out for a 2-cent loss. Well, fortunately, I got stopped out where I did because otherwise, look what happened. All right, I'm going to stop myself right there. Jump right back to the SQBG. There we go. Finally, there we go. All right, so I'm in this trade. Once again, 950. I took a small haircut just to begin, but nonetheless, right place, right time, it seems like here, folks. So this actually just got halted. Oh, did it get halted? No, not yet. I'm sorry. I was going to say, I thought it got halted right here. It stopped on the time in sales, but still active, not halted yet, making the push seemingly up towards 10. I'm hopeful that if all goes according to plan, we could see this run much higher. I'm going to set a stop on my trade anyway here, just since I just got filled. So, all right, cool. All right, we're going to move on. So, yeah, the SQBG, we'll see if this ends up making the big squeeze back up. All right, so my stop is now set once again on this trade, right underneath 950 this time. All right, so BPTH getting back, kind of a bust, unfortunately. I had some room to profit, but let it waste Maybe we'll see that stock make a big push at some point going into the next few days. Keep it on the side. Let's see, what else do we have here? I did skip over this HX. I want to go back to that, but Sabre ended up making like a wacky pop in pre-market. I called it out at the time, but it was on a huge spread. It wasn't really that great at the time. But from there, ended up making the big pop, shortly after 10:30, right? So, it's at the highs right now. Given how much it dropped off from March, it really hasn't recovered. So, I feel like there could be a lot of room on this trade further. The Sabre, it's right on our list, looking pretty interesting. Guys, if you are in that SQBG trade, please make sure that you have your stop set. It's looking good. Just make sure that you don't let it go to waste. So HX, we saw this get called out earlier. I got the ping on Benzinga Pro as it broke high of the day off 270. Moved up beautifully from there, basically a 50-cent push. Unfortunately, though, much like a lot of these, wheels fell off and the stock pulled back down. KBSF, another infamous pump and dump stock. You could just see on the daily chart these big red bars over and over. Hi. What else do we have here so far on the gainer side, at least? I saw the HYLN make more of an afternoon move. There we go. Bit of a spread, empty order book. I'm not really too keen on that. So, given the afternoon run, I like it, but not as much compared to some of the others. This NTN stock, former pump and dump back from late July, early August, I recall. The stock was actually shortable this given day here. So for as much as it ran up, we did short this on the way down. It was incredible. It was great. So, after that point, it was hard to borrow, not shortable. But, nonetheless, today, pushing up a little bit. Again, maybe to keep a smaller eye on it, but we'll see if there's anything looking better. All right, AHT fell off too. All right. Let's see. Anything else looking familiar? Hertz. Want to jump to HTZ. We're not going to put this on our list, but I will say with Hertz, I missed out on this trade from this morning. I called it out off 170. I took my eyes off it for like all of, 2 minutes? And the worst part is I normally 99% of the time would set a stop limit order to buy this stock. Should it break that resistance? I didn't. And I missed out. So this would have been a really simple and quick trade. Once it broke over the iceberg order at 170, it's kind of pulling back towards there right now. It's not really a good afternoon trade here. ACRX at the highs, kind of. Viper, VVPR. I call it Viper. I don't know. Vivo Power. VVPR here. Nice squeeze up. Another one that moved, very nicely from the, later part of the summer, from September. Pumped up, pulled back. And then obviously, big gap up in the pre-market here this morning, popped up, dumped off. So just given the range, this stock will make a nice move back up, and we've seen it so far today make a bit of a squeeze, but hopefully there is more to come on this trade. If not, today, then perhaps tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, then perhaps next week. But yeah, keep this on your side list too, I'd say. Very volatile stock from the last month or so. All right, so that just about does it across the gainers list. Going back to SQBG really fast, since again I'm in that trade. It's at 967. It's starting to pull back. Oh, it just stopped me out. Are you kidding me? This just stopped me out right now. I just got stopped out at 949. I took a freaking break-even trade, and now it just spiked back up. Huh. You look at that. I actually just got stopped right there. If this pops up without me now, I will be so pissed. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. Just spiked down and got me. I might have to jump right back in, but I don't want to fall victim to the spread here. It's got a massive spread. Again, very illiquid order book. I normally wouldn't put a stock like this on our list, but given how much it had already dumped off, I'm still keen to see this make a move up. Jeff says, all you could do is laugh, right? Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it was a 1 cent loss. So is it the end of my world? No, but it will be if this ends up moving up without me. So I'm going to try and finish up this meeting fast at this point and see if this can either get me back in or maybe try and focus on the next trade. All right. So with this NVIV stock here down 47+%, what's this up to? Not much. John says, limit back in. I'm trying. I am trying right now, John. Trust me. MRIN from yesterday, pump and dump. JFU, bunch of crap on the losers list, hard to borrow, as I usually say. PEIX is shortable, dropped off really nicely from today. I don't know what happened there. For right now, the volume really died off on this trade. That's my issue. But again, sideless stock. If it remains shortable, this could be an interesting trade come tomorrow morning still on the short side. TAL at the lows here, pretty expensive stock for as much as it dropped off yesterday, ended up continuing from today. So, yeah, I mean, hey, we'll put this on our list. Spreads are tight. A little expensive, but spreads are tight. Fairly liquid order book here. Pulling back towards, I mean, now under 67.50. Not a whole lot of volume got filled there really at all. So this might have a chance to continue dropping off towards the next whole number, 67. Perhaps from there we'll see the bounce. I got partially filled on SQBG right now. Partially filled on this trade. All right. Set a new stop. Not losing money on it, but at least just I want to get back in before it ends up making the hopeful pop, right? You don't want to keep hoping too long, and especially holding. You do not want to hold on to that trade. Like I said, that SQBG, if it keeps breaking lower, there is still plenty of room on the daily chart to see that continue to drop. All right, guys. I mean, really, there's not much that's catching my eye on the loser side here. So, you know what? Let's take a quick look at Benzinga Pro. For as much as I was flapping my gums, you have the HYLN trade. It looks like it's breaking higher. Pretty interesting. All right, so this is certainly more of a level 4 or 5 stock. Spreads are still a little, fluctuating up and down, but making the nice pop here higher. So hopefully, if anything, this 24.50 level, for as much as this held as resistance, you hope to see this hold as support. CFX here, new high of the day, but pretty low volume. Not really worth it. And take a quick look on my tops, my GLBS. Those are already on the list, but still just kind of shaking around a bit there. All right. Guys, if there's anything else that you would want me to, call out or look at here in the chat boards, let me know. Oh, I will mention one last one. It's just been a little bit of a slowpoke of late, so I didn't think about just showing you guys, but APTX. So for any one of us inside our live trading room, I always offer this option. You could always private message me extremely early in the pre-market, and I will look to talk to you, tell you what I'm watching, if there's anything that catches my eye. Well, this APTX stock has been on our, main watch list from Tuesday and on our side list from yesterday. And, well, it ended up dropping off another 30% in pre-market this morning. So for all of the good news that came out on APTX back from Monday afternoon even that led to this big pop, well, it ended up breaking down that much more overnight and into the pre-market all the way down to 3. So I looked on Benzinga Pro. I'm like, all right, well, what's the news? No news. In fact, Benzinga Pro even said that. It was, down off of no company-specific news, at least from, this week. So right now, I'm in this trade. I've been in this trade since 9:32 in the morning. I'm in at 3:05. The level to watch going into the afternoon was off the 310 opening bell print level. So once it popped the opening print, that was it. But for the afternoon, I still find there to be opportunity on the stock. I mean, there's a big gap to fill on the daily chart. It's not going to fill the entire gap. If I can get a fraction of that gap filled, I'd be extremely happy. All right, so actually, this APTX, just given the afternoon, squeeze up here, I don't mind putting this on our list at all. All right, so those are all the stocks I'm in: Tops, SQBG, and the APTX. That's it. I'm not in anything else right now. All right, Kathleen here in the chat board in Cyber Group, she says she's been getting in and out of X. I love my X, my US Steel. So it's at the highs, very nice trends. It's up 5+%. You know what? Hey, I don't know if I'll trade this myself because it's almost like too slow. But this is right where we would want it to be heading into this time of the day. So if all goes according to plan in a perfect world, Kathleen, not only would this move up higher, but it will become more volatile and hopefully, more worth our time to catch on a quick 10, 15 cent pop, right? I mean, it's taken all day for this stock to move up, just about 50 cents. So if you were in from earlier and were holding on, I mean, hey, you were in, with a nice profit. For the afternoon, I'll put this on our list, but it needs to make a really sharp pop higher, though. Got to see a lot more volume getting filled for this to start moving faster, at least, right? But for the meantime, it's a nice level 1 or 2 stock, I'd say. Probably more level 1. All right. I think that's it, folks. I don't have anything on YouTube. I don't have anything else in the chat board from you guys. So I think that just about does it. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Not too bad. All right, guys, at least taking us into the close today, we do have Intel earnings, INTC earnings after the bell today. We're not going to be trading them into the afternoon, but just wanted to let you folks know, at least as far as a stock to watch that's going to be reporting earnings after the market close today. We'll be looking at INTC Intel, and more likely that'll be a stock to watch for tomorrow morning. All right, guys. So, aside from that, for all of us on social media, if you'd like to learn more about Cyber Trading University, we've offered a bunch of content on YouTube this week already with our Traders Talk workshop, with our Cyber Expo, which we just finished up here. So, aside from that, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. Aside from that, as always, feel more than free to join us. All right, folks. I'm going to jump on a call myself. I believe Fausto will be taking you guys heading into the final hour of the day. All right. Take care.